Hey, welcome back to RT Machine Podcast, episode number 13. Your regular host, Brian Krayling's not here today. He had a personal issue. But who do we have in the room here, Dean?
Oh, I'm back. We got Eric and Brian here, and we got my dad here today.
Oh, your dad's here today.
Uh-oh. You better be good.
Yeah, you better behave yourself. That's why we can't have alcohol today, because Dean's dad's here.
Right away, it's my fault.
Well, tell us who you are, Mr. Brown.
Who am I? Well, I am an owner-operator of my own business trucking company, and here we are.
Yeah.
Travel the United States, hauling honey most times, and had some acquaintance. I wouldn't call it an acquaintance now, but some work with RT when they first moved here. So
Yeah, you started out way back when we first moved in. You started hauling some machinery for us.
Yep,
Even did some rigging work for us.
did that also.
Yeah.
At that point, I had more equipment and trucks and drivers and
Yeah, you had a couple drivers. Yeah.
right.
Now you're solo.
Now I'm solo and not as much of availability there.
Yeah. So how's the trucking world these days?
Well, for me, it's busy. For others, it's up and down. I, over the years, have built good relationships with customers and individuals, personally and business-wise, and that has worked well for me.
Do you spend most of your time just doing the bees?
Not so much bees anymore, mostly honey.
Oh, okay.
Haul honey out of Dutch Gold in Lancaster. And right now we're actually hauling empty drums from there to beekeepers out in the west, North Dakota, South Dakota, Idaho, Wyoming, to take empties out, bring full ones back. And then when that slows down, probably another week or two, and then we'll go back to hauling finished product out of their business. It comes in totes, barrels, and food stock.
Is it a specific
They're
kind of
tape
container that you have to take that specific container out to them?
It's what they use.
Okay.
Other bee or honey packers, they use totes a lot, but Dutch Gold uses drums, 55-gallon drums. That's what they, in their process, that's what they've always used. So
So I'm sure a lot of people don't know, and I don't know much about it, but you haul the bees from parts of the country based on the weather and their pollination periods and stuff. Do you know about that, or you just know you haul bees?
no, I know a little more than just I haul bees. But when I had more trucks and employees and not solo, because I had to make a decision at that point when I went back to being solo. But we would haul. I actually had two guys when I had 4 trucks. I had 2 guys hauling bees all year long except for August. We would haul. We'd start hauling them to California, out of Florida in January, February, March. We'd go bring them back from California to Florida or this area. Then April, we would bring them back from Georgia and Florida, this area for apples and cherries, blueberries in this area, our central PA. And then May, we would haul them to Maine for blueberries.
Okay.
And they'd be up there for a month. Meanwhile, while they were there, we were still bringing for other beekeepers back out of Florida and Georgia to here, this area, New York, Ohio. And then June, we'd actually go and get the bees out of blueberries and haul them down to Massachusetts for cranberries or over to New York for honey production, clover honey up in New York. And then July, the ones that went to Mass for cranberries, we'd haul back to Florida. And when that all got done, in August, they were basically wherever they needed to be. And in September, we'd start hauling them back south till they were all down in November, December. And then January, we'd start California again.
So you weren't necessarily just hauling bees for honey production. It was for
Pollination.
pollination purposes and for these tree farms and fruit farms and stuff.
They go to California for almonds.
Okay.
And then some out of California, when I never got into going to Washington, but they'd haul them from California to Washington. We were too busy hauling them from California back east.
Wow. So there's just not enough bees in them area to pollinate?
No.
Or...
I mean, you got millions and millions of acres of almonds out there. and there's just not enough bees there as needed for, because you need so many in a short period of time, and so you'd bring them from the East Coast to the West Coast, just like blueberries and cranberries. There's not enough bees in Maine.
Huh. I could see Maine, I guess. Maybe not California. It's just hard to imagine that it's cheaper to bring bees in and then try to raise the bees on them farms.
Oh, no. I mean, you need so many of them. I mean, you're probably, and I don't hold me to this, but you're probably talking 16 hives an acre.
Wow. Now, are you dropping, is that like a whole semi-truck
Yep.
at like one farm? You're not,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
like a couple here, a couple there.
Well, yeah, because we'd have like 432 to 468 hives. So you start figuring the acres at 16, just 12 to 16 hives an acre.
Wow.
Wow.
It don't take very many acres till you got a load of bees.
No,
And like you're saying, to try to raise them,
that's a lot of bees.
to have right there, and you only need them there for a short period of time, because California is a desert and it dries up. In the spring, if you go out there in the spring, that's nice and lush and it's green because it's spring, everything. You get out there in the summertime, it's all brown and ugly, and you can't keep bees
Nothing
alive.
would stay alive.
So, and then that's why them guys, and then there's, I mean, that's just on the East Coast, but you got guys that run Texas to the Dakotas, up in, north and south, and then to California and back. It's just wild.
I never thought there was a market or industry.
I'll bet most people have no clue. I had no clue that happened until we met you, that you were doing this. And tell them what it takes you have to keep the truck moving in the summertime especially. Didn't you lose a load of bees one time?
I didn't lose any, but I had a guy, and it wasn't me. It was another guy that was helping me out. He drove a truck for somebody else. He lost quite a few because of his not wanting to take the time and take care of them. I mean, you load them this time of year in the fall, it's not too bad. But when you're up in Massachusetts in July, it's 90 degrees at night and it's hot. They're hot. Yeah. And you're taking them to Florida, so the whole trip is hot. We would actually put watering hoses over the top and then stop during the night, and when you get to doing this, you find out what truck stops you can stop at and water them and whatnot. So you actually put water on them at night.
Oh, wow.
Just to cool them down, because you got all that heat.
Even with the truck moving, if it's not vented or something like that, I'm sure it heats up pretty good.
Well, they use a net. They call it shade cloth netting.
Okay.
And during the day in the sun, you want to keep them moving, yes, for sure. And even at night when it's really hot like that, but you got to sleep sometime.
So they didn't make you drive tandem or anything like that?
No. But there's been short nights out there with falling bees, because till you get them loaded, I mean, especially in July, it doesn't get dark till 9, depending on where you're at. So there you are till you get them loaded. Because it takes a little bit of time to get them loaded. Next thing you know, you're just winding down from getting them loaded, and you got to be up at daylight to get moving again.
Yeah. Right.
I was wondering how you got the bees to go back and made sure you had all the bees in the hive. I guess they all go home at
night.
Yep.
That doesn't mean they all go in at night, but they'll hang on the outside of the hives and whatnot. But you'll still get the biggest majority.
So they put the hive actually into like a cage, or?
No, the hive just sits on a pallet. And then when the bees come back at night, you load them and then put a net over top of them.
Oh, okay. And do you have like a system on the truck where you put layers of these?
Yeah, you'll probably have 4 stacks high of pallets.
Okay.
On some forms of pallets, some pallets they call it a 4-way. They have 4 hives to a pallet. Other guys will run a 6 hive to a pallet, so then you don't put as many pallets on. But it's harder for the beekeeper to work, because then they got to move the outside ones to get to the middle. It's like everything else. It's personal preference.
Mm-hmm. Do they get the honey out of the hive at some point, or what? How does that
Well,
work?
yeah, on the bees that do a lot of pollination, they don't generally take a lot of the honey unless it's specific, like blueberry or raspberry, apple. The stuff that they would make in California for off of the almonds, no, they just let them eat it.
Oh.
That's what they let them, because that stuff just tastes nasty.
So there's actually another taste for like the different fruit flowers for what they're pollinating?
yeah, yes. There's every honey has a little different. It still has that fermented individual taste that it has, but you can pick up like the citrus or the apple or the blueberry, clover.
Orange honey's really good.
Yeah, Florida orange honey's really good. California's not quite as good, and nobody could ever figure out quite why.
Now you actually taste the citrus in with it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'd be like, a few years back, I used this as a reference, and I did try it. I think it was, Bud Light maybe had that wheat citrus or something. They had it out, and I tried it. It was, and you could, that's what it put me in mind, was like orange honey
Wow.
with beer aftertaste.
If you just go to the store and it just says honey, it's probably clover honey, right?
Yeah, I mean, in a jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have it marked.
A lot of times at the grocery store, it just says honey or local honey. I don't know what kind.
Yeah.
That's all I've ever got. Mm-hmm. And so you just go to the store and get honey. I didn't realize there were so many different kinds of it out there.
Yeah. I didn't either.
I knew there was wild honey.
The stuff Hackenberg brings here is always clover, I think.
Clover and wildflower.
Yeah. Well, then you just gotta pressure him a little bit to give you some
Some of the good stuff.
Yeah. And he does have it. There's no doubt. He has the good stuff.
Yeah.
Huh.
I remember that.
I was at
Yeah.
a stand at the Bloom Fair, and they had the setup like that, where it was like blueberry, orange. There must have been a dozen different kinds of honey there, maybe more.
That's I always seen. We used to go into this restaurant at one of the shops we worked at, and at the register, they'd always have these little straws, and it was like honey straws, and they had the orange, cherry, apple, and they were like a little bit different color, each one of them. And it was like,
Some of them they put a flavor to.
Yeah, those actually have
Straws
flavor.
have a little additive. Yeah.
Because like the grape one is actually purple. And
Yeah. I haven't seen purple grape honey bottled from a bee yet.
that's
funny.
wild. I mean, you guys always talk about hauling the bees and hauling the honey, and I never realized that it was that in depth, hauling them around to pollinate different crops. I've known you for almost 20 years, and I didn't
I've always
feel like a dummy.
It's like an industry in and of itself.
yeah.
It's amazing some of the things that go on out there in this world. We just don't know about it.
I've always heard it's been like a war on bees or your honeybees, and they're starting to die off, and you shouldn't kill them and that kind of stuff. But I've never heard that much of why.
Oh, if we didn't have bees to pollinate, we wouldn't survive very long,
Yeah.
because everything would just.
Monoculture has destroyed natural pollinators. That's why you need the bees.
Yep.
That and a lot of places like almonds or blueberries, you got a month to pollinate, and you got to have them, and there's not enough natural with all the acres in a little. Your garden, yeah, you'd be fine with what you have for your natural pollinators, but when you're doing it in that scale, I mean, it's just amazing. You go to California and just see most of what you see along Interstate 5 or 99 are almonds. I mean, they'll just go in, clear off the desert, irrigate it, plant almonds.
Wow. That's like you get down towards Gettysburg and that general area, and they have all the apple trees and stuff. Are they bringing in bees for them too?
Yep.
Wow.
Some of the bees that we bring back from Georgia go to that area for apples.
Huh.
I actually have a beekeeper down there I haul for that. That's what he does is apples.
Wow.
Do you have any concept as to how many are on a truck? How many bees?
Millions.
Yeah.
I mean, you're probably, and don't hold me to this either. You're probably talking 20 to 40,000 bees to a colony, one hive,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and they're constantly producing. The bee life's only 45 days or something.
Oh.
Poor thing. Works itself to death.
Yeah, right.
So if you take that just on an average, say 20 to 40,000 per hive on 400 hives.
Okay.
Now, what makes a honeybee produce a better honey than like a yellow jacket or a bumblebee? Because I mean, a yellow jacket would produce.
They don't make honey.
They don't.
No.
So they're just growing their eggs in the nest. They're not making any honey or. Never knew that.
Yep.
Are they still pollinating then?
All bees will pollinate,
Okay.
but they don't make honey.
Yep.
Don't get too. I can't explain too much in depth on that. I just knew to make honey you need a honeybee.
Okay.
Huh.
You started off
There's
this
a-
podcast as a truck driver, and now you're a
Yeah,
honey
Yeah.
Hey, there's a nest of yellow jackets in behind the siding right now, and I was hoping I wasn't killing them. Killing all the honey.
No. You don't have to worry about yellow jackets and honey.
All right.
Kill those bastards.
Yeah. Those ones, I would help you eliminate them.
They're,
We had one. We had a bee. It was a ground wasp or something, and it was by the house. And I let it go, and then finally got to the point that I better put on my bee suit and get rid of these guys.
yeah.
Because you put that on, you just go do your deal, and they're trying to, and it don't matter.
Huh. You have your own bee suit.
Oh yeah,
Huh.
for sure. They make different styles of them, and after all these years, I think I finally found a good one.
So do you wear that when they're unloading and all the time? And
Yeah, when you're loading or unloading, you'll.
oh, okay.
Yeah, and a honeybee's more aggressive. I mean, you put 400 some hives in a little area, they get more aggressive because there's nothing for them really to do. There's so many of them, and then to move them, load and unload them, then they're more aggressive. But if you have them out by your house, most normally you can walk right to them and they won't even know you're there. They don't even care. We have some down behind the house, and they'll come up in the yard, and they couldn't care less that you're out there because they're focused. They're out there to make that honey.
You got a job to do. make the queen happy, right?
Right.
Does the queen live longer, or is she still 45 days?
No, the queen will live longer. She'll live until the hive decides that she's not worth their time, per se. She's wore out. So then in a natural hive, they'll actually produce their own queen. So they'll pick one and nurture it and turn it into their queen. But in the industrial side of it, a beekeeper will put a new queen in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Or they'll put in a cell, which is a mated. I don't understand all that anyhow, but they call it a cell, and then it'll hatch, and then it's a stronger honey. It's a stronger bee per se, I guess. So the hive will claim it and nurture it, and when they put going back to when they put a queen in, the queen will actually be in a piece of candy. And if the hive accepts her, they'll eat the candy and let her out. Yep, they'll eat it and then let her out of that little. It's a little square. It looks like a 1x1 piece of wood, like 2.5 inches long, and it's hollowed out. And the queen's in there, and if the hive will accept her, they'll eat the candy and let her out. If they don't, they'll ignore her. She'll die.
So
They
just
won't
die in
ignore
there.
her. They'll try and actively kill her.
Yep.
They'll ball up around it.
Wow.
Jeez.
Nature.
And the poor drone bee, he mates one time and he's dead. That's the only job he has. Once he mates, he's done.
He's out of here.
So I would hope he was selective.
Yeah, really. Hope it was worth it.
He's like a Catholic. He mates one time and he dies.
And the thing is, the queen will mate with a bunch of drones all at one time, and that's it. One time they mate, but it's a whole bunch of drones. They're like, yeah.
Wow.
Poor guy went second or third or fifth.
Oh man.
That's crazy.
That's nature.
That is. That's pretty wild. So you're working with a beehive guy or a bee farmer when you go to California at that almond farm.
Yeah, what usually happens is like back home here, you'll work with the beekeeper, and he'll actually lease his bees to another beekeeper. Just like those guys out there will lease them back to this guy for whatever he needs them for. So it's back and forth. So the guy here doesn't go with me to unload them or put them out. The guy out there does that. Likewise, the guy in California doesn't come back east to take care of the bees back here.
Okay.
And then they'll put them out and load them and unload them. So I'm actually dealing with, on one load, 2 different beekeepers.
Okay. And the one guy owns them, the other guy's leasing them.
Right.
Now, if they were to kind of get mixed together, would that be a big deal? Like if the bees would come out and go into other hives, or are they pretty much
They know their hive.
The,
Even, and that's you put 432 hives, stack them on a trailer, full trailer load of hives, front to back, top to bottom. And when you unload them, they know where to go.
Yeah.
And usually it's a big cloud of bees because they're all mad, and you penned them up, and now they want to go do something.
It's very scary when you're sitting in the truck and you just hear the buzz.
Yeah, I bet.
yeah.
Well, I didn't have a bee suit, so I'm sitting in the passenger seat just hoping the window's sealed.
Imagine when you pull into a truck stop to go get a sandwich, and the people, you can hear them buzzing in under that net, right?
Yeah, well, during the day you do that, and they'll always find a hole to get out. So then you start getting them flying around. So you don't stick around too long during the day. But even at night, when they go dormant like we do sleep, you still hear them buzz them. I mean, it's just, you don't have to be right beside them, and you can still hear them.
Eesh.
And drive people crazy.
Yeah, you can. It's like, yeah.
So do you haul anything else, or you're just doing the honey now these days?
Right now, I'm just basically doing the honey and bees. Probably another. Well, this is end of September. The guy down around Gettysburg, he'll go to Georgia end of August. So I'll probably haul a few loads down end of October. We've already been through August.
Yeah.
Get to October, I'll haul a few loads down for him, and then come back and haul honey for the honey company.
So when you
Just to break it up, so I'm not doing the same thing monotonous all the time.
So then you take the bees down to Florida, you'll get another load to get yourself back here.
If there is anything.
Yeah.
If the freight's moving, yeah. Or if you have something in Florida, I can bring back for you on my stuff.
Yeah, we'll keep that in mind.
Because when I haul honey, it's in a van trailer. Hauling bees is on a flatbed,
Right.
open trailer.
Right. They need the air.
Yep.
A couple weeks ago, we bought a dovetail machine, and it was in the Dakotas somewhere, and that's like right by where you're heading. And Dean and I were brainstorming how to get the thing out of there. I'm like, well, why don't you call your dad? He says, no, I don't think that'll be that easy with a truckload of barrels.
Then comes to find out he just got home that night, so
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't work out
he wasn't
right.
even up there anymore.
Did you get it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
here.
that's sitting out in the warehouse now.
So you like hauling bees better than machinery?
I could do either. It was fine.
Whatever's on the back you're driving.
Yeah.
Right?
The bees have their own challenge. Hauling machinery has its own challenge.
Yeah.
Especially when you'd send me out to a spot when you say, "Oh yeah, it'll fit in a trailer," and you look at it like, "Well, I guess this is a jigsaw puzzle."
Usually is a jigsaw puzzle, right?
Yeah, most generally we got it all on, but
Nice game of Tetris.
Yeah, you and Spike are about the best ones I've ever seen play Tetris
Yeah.
with machinery.
Yeah.
I've unloaded a time or two just to make it's like, yeah, this will work. I get it on. No, that ain't. So we got to change it around. Depending on the rigger, it's okay. Others, yeah, they throw a fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on there and ain't coming back off, right?
Yeah, that's why it's always nice if you went out and did the whole job. And because a lot of times when you do the whole job, as you're taking it apart, you're kind of putting it together. You're seeing what you're taking apart, and then you set it up when you're taking it apart somewhere else and put it together. Like, yeah, this ain't going to work. So you move it around. And then till you go to put it on the truck, you usually have it figured out.
You remember that one down at, where were we at? You and Spike were rigging and trucking for me. Was that West Virginia? There was a forklift. They left us use their forklift on site and it didn't have any brakes.
Which one? Which time?
I just remember you and Spike there, and it was you guys were getting pissed at each other because the forklift wouldn't stop, and it was rolling downhill, and And I finally said, I'll see you guys later. I was afraid they were going to beat the shit out of each other.
We've had a few interesting times of that. That was when Rich and I almost did that out in Ohio when we were taking that roller stuff that went to a gas city.
Oh, conveyor?
Yeah. We got into it one day down there. Them guys are all looking at us. You guys are going to kill each other. And it wasn't that you could not know or hear because, we had guys way over yonder walking by and we're still going at it. It was just one of them things where we both got so frustrated, not per se at each other, but just what we were the job.
Yeah.
So we just took it out at each other, and at the end of the day, we went and had dinner, and it was all good. But because it wasn't really towards each other as much as we just had to vent.
Yeah, that's what it was down there. Cause
was that the one where we brought the Mitsubishi home?
Yeah.
Yeah, the old Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a challenge, just getting that one running.
Yeah. We had a hard time getting it running, and the brakes didn't work.
And then we had to load the Mitsubishi with it.
It was on a slope, too, if I remember right.
Yeah, I remember that
You
one.
loaded the Mitsubishi with a fork truck that didn't have brakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Mitsubishi's still here. What is that, Dino? It's like an 8,000-pound lift, maybe.
8 or 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
it was
wow.
a big Taylor 30,000 yard lift. I believe.
Okay.
We used the Mitsubishi to load most of the smaller stuff, and then when we had to use that big Taylor, we did. But I think that was propane too.
I couldn't tell you.
And we couldn't get it started at first, so they were mechanicking on it to get the thing started. And that was frustrating. And then, no brakes on a Taylor.
Yeah.
So here you are with a 30,000-pound machine with no brakes on, trying to load trailer.
It was on a slope, so they're trying to hold it with the clutch. And
Yeah.
they each had their own way they wanted to do it. So then I was kind of caught in the middle. And I had no input, so I was like, all right, I'm going to go write specs for a while. And then I just finally left.
I hope we have a truck driver when we get back.
It all got out of there. That's all that really matters. You got it out. So we went home.
Yeah, that one was an interesting one.
It was a big, long, narrow building, if I remember right.
And
Was it West Virginia?
No, it was Virginia. It was down exit 126 off of 95.
Holy shit.
You get off there.
Are you serious? Are you making this up?
No, I'm serious. You go down there about 3 or 4 red lights and turn left. And then that took you back over 95. And you went down to the 4-way stop a few miles down and turned right and went down through town, and it was on the left.
Good God.
Damn. If you're serious, I can't believe you can remember that.
Uh-huh.
Had to be 20. Well, not. How long ago was that? It was right after we moved in here, probably.
And that was Ryan, not Spike.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. It was Ryan.
Yep.
Okay.
Jeez.
Yep. I do remember Ryan now.
Yep.
I forgot about him.
Somebody's going to go looking for that place. Yeah, he was full of shit. There's nothing here.
It might be leveled now.
It might not be there now. It wasn't much of a place.
No, it wasn't. So, yeah, you're right. It could be leveled, but that's where it was at. You had to go.
Oh, wow. Huh.
That's crazy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's Machine of the Week. This week, we have stock number 52139. This is an Oliver Model 2072 30-inch wide double-sided planer. This machine has been completely refurbished by our full-service shop, including a new motor, cutter head bearings, new and updated electrics, and a fresh paint job. This machine also features Oliver's itch carbide insert spiral planer heads. If you're interested in this machine, you can contact us at 570-584-2002 or email us at sales@rtmachine.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Les, we've had people before ask about having guests on, being able to share how they got their business up and going and doing your own trucking and stuff. Would you be able to share how you bought your own truck and how you kind of got into the industry?
Well, I bought my first truck in 98, but
You were trucking for somebody else at that point, I assume? Or
well, yeah, there was a guy at Montoursville I drove for when I was young. I started working in a shop at 16, washing trucks, helping the mechanics, whatever. And then when I turned 18, he helped me get my license. And so then summers, I'd actually run short stuff for him local here in PA. and then I graduated from Penn College when I was 20. I was 90. I graduated in 90. I was 92. So I did that till 94, 96 when he retired, sold out. Then I went down and worked for John Deere down here at Watsontown for a year and a half. And at that point, it was like, I just couldn't, just working.
You weren't a factory man?
I wasn't a factory man, and it just, I knew it wasn't going to work. I had to do my own thing. So I talked my wife and let me buy my first truck, and I did. That was in April of 98. And I leased on to Mercer Transportation out of Louisville, pulling step deck, and it was an option to get started.
Yep.
And so then from that point till 2000, I had a friend here in Turbotville wanted a truck. He didn't want to own his own truck, but he wanted a dedicated truck. So we worked out a deal, and that's where Transport Resource come in between the two of us in 2000. So I worked for him till he went out of business in 04. But till then, I started buying trucks because I had another friend, the Hackenbergs. They got me into hauling honey down to Dutch Gold because the stuff at Turbotville was more seasonal.
Okay.
So then I started doing that in the off season. It's like, well, then I built a relationship with them, and then 03 I bought the truck I'm still driving. 04 I bought was the blue one, and I hired Avery. He was the first guy I hired. We'll just leave it at that. And then that was in April of 04 I bought that one, and then December of 04 I bought the red one, and then I hired another guy because at that point I still had the stuff at Turbotville. Now I had hauling stuff for Dutch Gold, and then now I'm hauling honeybees, starting to haul honeybees, and it just started to expand. So then in 05, that's when I bought the green truck.
Mm-hmm.
You're still a baby at this point, right, Dean?
Yeah.
5.
You're 5 and 05.
Yep.
Yeah, so there we were that.
So your business was going good in 05. You're up to 4 trucks.
Oh, it was, and everything was, and then somewhere, I don't even remember when you've moved.
6.
So then I got involved here from, Keystone Paving did your driveway.
Okay.
So that was, you got my name off of them, and then there was another friend that somehow was involved somehow, and that's how my name got put out there, and then we started hauling out of here, and it was going really good. I mean, 4 trucks. I had decent drivers, and then we had 08, 9, and 10 when everything went ridiculously backwards, and I mean, we all felt that one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
If you were in business for yourself, you felt that one hard.
Oh, for sure.
Then in 2011, 2010, I sold. By then, I had Spike working for me, and he was he was fine. Rich was working for me. He was driving a red truck. Rich, he was getting antsy, and he wanted to buy his own truck, and things weren't quite going the way it should have been for me in the business, and by that time, I already decided I was done babysitting. So I'm done. Trucks are easy. Freight's easy. I'm done babysitting grown men. So I sold the red one to Rich. It was either late 2009 or 2010. And then Spike, when I sold the blue one or the red one, then Spike wanted to buy the blue one. Okay. Easy enough. And then 2011, I sold the green one, and then I went back to just being me. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got started in it. But through all that, even through 8, 9, and 10, when things started getting tough, I still had good business relationships with all my customers that I was working with. And I don't know, I'd have to sit down and really think hard if there's any of them that I couldn't sit down and talk to or go back to work for.
Yeah.
Maybe not Ron.
I can understand.
Too hard on you?
jigsaw puzzles.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, those I can't change.
But no, that's where we were at, and when I had my drivers, all the stuff I did, like RT, Dutch Gold, hauling the honeybees. By that time, the Turbotville stuff that drifted off because he sold out. But meanwhile, I picked up a company in Reading, T-Mac. They sold fertilizers and whatnot. Did a lot for them, and I still can. But I did anything that I had, and I made it a point that I would go and show up at all of them. So, yeah, I'd have to send my drivers at times to haul stuff for RT or Dutch Gold, but I would always try to make it a point that some point, not 6 months at a time, but I usually did what was left over to have to go out and be moved. If my guys if RT was the last thing that had to be was scheduled to do for that week and nobody wanted to do it, well, then I went and did what you did. If it was the Dutch Gold stuff, because some of that they didn't want to do either, okay, I go do that. It's fine, whatever. Because all of it, in the end, for the most part, was good work.
It all paid.
It all paid, and it was all good work because I dealt directly with the customer, and I didn't go through a broker, and that made a big difference.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started, and I just wasn't going to work for somebody.
Yeah. That's very cool. Cool story.
Yeah, that is. I didn't know much. You know, we never talked about that kind of stuff about how you got started. And we do that with most people that come on because you don't know their history. You don't know what started their desire to be in business for themselves. So.
Common theme, though. I decided I didn't want a boss.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Right, and I said that I didn't want to work, but everybody works for somebody.
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, at the end of
But
the day.
it's not like punching the clock because I coming in the front door, punching in at this time. Well, yeah, that didn't go to work for me. I'm showing up when I want to, and then I'm going to leave when I want to. That's either when the job's done or we figure we're at the point we got to wait and finish it tomorrow.
And what was it, Dino? 2018 that he sauntered you in here, and
Yeah.
we've already kind of told that story.
Which comes back to where he was at, asking how I got started, which leads to that. I always had that working relationship, or a little better with everybody, and I could have taken him. He was 18 and he didn't know what he was going to do. He graduated high school, and it's like,
Well, the boys down at T-Mac, they offered
Yeah.
me a job before I was even out of high school.
yeah. I mean, he was offered
But
jobs.
that's a 2-hour drive down.
Yeah, down to Reading. He's like, yeah, he ain't doing that. but he could even went to Dutch Gold. They would have hired him. But that's another 2-hour drive. He's like, well, we'll go up because I knew working with Ron and Eric. I didn't know Eric that well really at the time
Probably
because
not. Yeah.
just because of the age and,
Right.
and time. And it's like, I don't know how he's going to work out, but I know he isn't going to flub up my name per se. He's going to do a good job, or he's going to do a good job, and
Or
you're
you're
going to work.
You're going to beat the hell out of him, right?
Yeah, pretty much. we could have a strong conversation. So, yeah, it was like 2018, whatever. Yeah, that's when you graduated.
June, so it was right
Yeah,
after.
so it was right after that. Come up here one day. I mean, because I know Joe and Mike and Dusty and all that, and I come up and thought, well, we're just going to take a ride. Maybe Ron needs somebody, whatever. Ron's not here. Huh. Got to deal with Eric. Well, I don't really know him, but I'm sure him and his dad talk, so. And before we even walked out the door, he told him to show up on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I guess you don't have to talk to your dad then. Maybe you were the guy.
Yeah, he just told me. I don't even know if he ever told me. I mean, he just was here. I don't know.
All of a sudden, there's this
came in.
kid here.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Who's that guy?
I think it's worked out.
Seems like it.
Hope so.
He shows up every day. Yeah, he does good work for us. Very good. It's we really appreciate it. You really trained him well. You raised yourself a good son.
Well, I did the best I could till he graduated. Now you guys are training him from here on, from 18 on.
Yeah. Yeah.
He seems to do okay.
No, he's picking it up. Well, he worked in the warehouse, as you know,
Yep.
for I don't know how many years you're out there. So he started here in 18. It was just the beginning of this year we brought him in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, back in December at the Christmas party, I guess is when I talked to you about it, and said we wanted to move him up to the office and start working with Eric and myself, and he's doing a great job.
Good.
Yeah,
Like a lot of folks in the building, he did a lot of different things around here.
yeah.
Warehouse, forklift operator,
Rigging.
jobs on the road. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Prep guy.
That's a
Even
typical
did some
small
wrench
company.
turning there for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, typical small company. Something's got to be done. Somebody's got to do it.
Right. And it's always good to move people up that already know what your company is.
That's right.
It's one of the best ways to learn. That's you got to do everything, or you don't know what someone else is going through.
Yeah.
Because I know you'll come home and start talking about this machine and that machine. It's like, yeah, I remember what they are, but I don't remember what they are. Because as you're working and loading and whatnot, you start learning, okay, double antenna, this and that. And
Yeah.
now he's talking about edge bander, and he's talking about it. He's like, well, I got to stop and think about what he's talking about.
And now he actually knows what they do.
Yeah.
This is a funky business. You learn in the reverse. You learn what the machine is long before you ever learn what it actually does.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Especially the way he came about it with being out in the warehouse.
Yeah.
He knew what they were, but just didn't know what they did.
I knew what they were called, and I knew how to pick them up.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't even know that.
Thankfully,
Go
the
get-
machines in this industry are pretty, a lot of times their names are self-descriptive. It's almost like the stuff in a kitchen or like your refrigerator. It refrigerates stuff. Toaster. Toast stuff.
It's like, Dean, go pick up that Marine Johnson 424.
Oh, damn.
What color is it? White and red. Oh, okay.
So you work on your trucks too yourself, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You got to be a truck driver and a mechanic.
Well, the only reason I went to college for diesel up at
Did you?
Penn College. That's
Okay.
what I actually went for. And that was only a step to get me by some time till I could drive.
Yeah. Okay.
But it was well worth it.
Yeah.
And even when I had all my own trucks, I did 95% of my maintenance. And
That's got to
fixing
be a huge expense.
to get done outside. Yeah. I mean, you're talking shops rate today like $182 an hour.
Wow.
So that's crazy. And what got me to do that was I took a truck out to Cat. I'm gonna, I guess, beat them down a little bit here, but not really. They did a good job.
Okay.
But I took the truck I personally drive out and had some work done to it, and went and picked it up, brought it home. Well, then I spent the next 2, 3, 4 hours rerouting all the hoses and wires back the way I had them and wanted them. And I'm out there doing this one evening, and my wife comes out and says, "What are you doing? You just got this back from the shop. Why are you working on it?" "Well, because they didn't put this here and that there and this way." Says, "Well, the next time, just do it yourself.
Yeah.
That way when you're done, you're done."
Yeah.
No.
So if you're going to spend 2, 3 hours, whatever, just putting it back, you could have done the whole job. I said, "Yep, you're right."
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I proceeded to do,
Yeah.
and again, it saved you time, saved you money. You knew it was done the way you wanted it done.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you're going up and down the highway with 80,000 pound, kind of want to know if it was done right or wrong.
Yeah. That would be pretty important.
Yes. So that's where I started to do most of all my own maintenance, and now it's just, I just do it because,
Yeah.
well, I make him help too.
Being yourself right now, I mean, whether the shop's in the garage or whether it's in your personal garage, it's still not on the road. It's still not running. So it's not really costing you money for you to do it yourself or for you to send it to a shop.
Well, yeah, right. When I 5 years ago, was it 4.5, 5?
2017.
That's when we rebuilt it.
Yep.
Well, I rebuilt 2017. So that's 6 years ago. I rebuilt my engine, in-framed it, took a week off, did it myself because it was going to take the shop a week anyhow to do it.
Yeah.
And so we tore it down. I got home on a Friday. Was that Friday? I got home, tore it down. It was all part Saturday.
Hey, I skipped school. Go do that. Made 'em like that.
Yeah, we tore it all apart Friday. It was all part Saturday. We cleaned everything back up, everything that needed clean that we weren't putting back in the engine. And then I had to wait because there's certain parts that I'll pay Cat to do, just because they do it every day. They know what they're looking for. They know the precision.
They got the tools.
Right. So I had them, and they couldn't come out till that Thursday. So he come out Thursday, cut the counterbores and set the protrusion of the liners. That's all technical.
Yep.
And
This was during harvest, so you were
I was actually running. I was doing this, and then I was helping another guy with his heart because he has grain bins and whatnot and does commercial grain. So I was helping him in the process of that while I was off. We set to head Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon. How did that work? That was Thursday.
It was
Friday by lunchtime. I had it
I was
running.
gonna say it was.
Wow.
It was Friday morning.
Wow.
I
sometime.
worked all night putting this thing back together.
Wow.
Because it's we had tables laid out, so everything we took apart, we laid on a table just the way it come apart. So then you start putting it back together. It's like, I can get this done. Oh, well, I might as well do this then. Well, the next thing you know, it's 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It's like, well, I might as well just keep going now.
We're going to finish tonight.
Might as well get it done.
Right. So, and evidently we did okay because at this point,
Still running?
it's 6 years and 800,000 mile on it since it was rebuilt. So we did okay.
800,000.
800,000. The engine itself has 3 million on it total.
Wow.
The crank and the block.
Huh.
Wow. It's a lot of
Few
miles. Did you buy it new?
No, I bought it used in 03. It's a 2000. I bought it used in 03 with 280,000 on.
So most of those are your miles.
Yep. I kind of know it from the top to bottom.
I would guess
inside
so.
and out.
I would guess so.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Did you haul any other loads or do any other jobs for that Gas City project? We probably never talked about that on here,
No.
but that's kind of the thing that got us through the recession, really.
Yeah.
And then that fell apart, didn't it?
It
Yeah.
did. Yeah, they didn't last very long, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, because that would have been, you're right, because that was, I talked about Rich. That's where Rich and I were at in Ohio doing that, and that's where that stuff went. Mm-hmm. Well, I remember one machine picked up out in Altoona. It was wide, and I went and rigged it.
Took Terry.
Took Terry with me. We rigged it out, got it on the trailer. I made it back to Lamar. Mike come out and got Terry because it was dark. Brought it in here the next morning, unloaded it, took it to Gas City, hauled it back from Gas City, and then took it back again.
Well, I'd have to really think about which one that was. I don't remember that. Out of
was wide.
Altoona.
Somewhere out around Altoona.
I don't know.
Now, that one I can't tell you how to get to. I can picture the place. It was more of a sawmill. It's just they had logs there, and they had sawmill equipment, and then they had, evidently, whatever they made there, cabinets or whatever. They had kilns there, but it was a wide machine. It was silver.
Really narrowing it down.
Yeah.
It was like 10.5 feet wide.
What it's life you just described. We really should know what he's talking about.
Yeah, you
That's
should
funny.
know. I should know. There were so many machines at Gas City, though.
But we hauled it. He wanted it, so we hauled it out, got it there. Nope, don't want it. Okay. Went out a week later and picked it up, brought it back. Week or so later, it went back again. And if you went in their back door, the big overhead, it sat there on the right.
That's near where the Paul saw was.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We could pull up the drawing after this.
Yeah. I could probably pull up the list of all the stuff I sold the guy and figure it out. But
So I hauled quite a bit in there, actually, even from here.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We
But
shut
I
down-
remember that one because I went and got it, brought it here, took it there, brought it back, and then took it again. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I guess as long as the guy's paying the
was
bill,
a-
I'll haul
Sounds
it.
like Manier.
Yeah. There was a furniture company that the guy was an importer and then decided he wanted to manufacture here in the U.S., right? He had a manufacturing plant many, many years ago.
He had one in New Jersey that we actually liquidated for him. And he always, I forget what year that was, but he always told me that he would reshore eventually. And he was importing from Vietnam, Malaysia, I'm not sure. And he said, someday I'll be back. And he did. He called and said, okay, I want to go back. And but he didn't want to do it in New Jersey.
Understandable.
Yeah, so we looked. He had his own plane. So he'd fly. Sometimes he'd fly into Harrisburg and pick me up, and then we would fly to different locations looking at factories. And sometimes I'd have to drive to New Jersey, especially when he got the jet. He ended up getting a jet. So I'd have to drive to New Jersey, get on the private jet, and then we'd fly out. And he chose Gas City. And we put everything in there, from the dust collectors to every single machine. So he, I don't know, he hired management that... he was an absentee manager. He was a salesman. He was a designer. He was excellent at designing cribs and baby furniture. He does a great job. And so he hired people to run the plant, but it just didn't work out. So we actually did very well at the auction because the way they ran the auction was pathetic. So we ended up buying, how many truckloads did we get out of there?
That's a really good question.
Yeah, it was a lot. That was a lot. But that was all because the mayor of Gas City chose the auctioneer because he's the one that put up the most amount of money. And he picked the wrong one.
Yep. They had a rough couple. I don't think it was a one-day sale either. I think it was multiple days, was it not?
I don't know about multiple days. There was 2 rings, remember? Because there was one, they had a warehouse across the street, I guess. But
no, I guess you're right. Yeah,
there was another building with all the inventory, and I had thought about at one point maybe sending him over there to see, and then I never did. And he was selling cribs for like $50, and these things would retail for thousands. And if I'd have been smarter, I'd have sent Eric over and bought every damn crib,
right, and then
put them on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
We would have been in the crib business.
We would have been in the crib.
might still be in the crib business.
But he was with me, and we were working with another dealer, and there was a CNC router there that I'd never thought in a million years I'd be buying. I sold the guy. I think I sold it to him for probably $380,000.
New,
brand new, and I think I bought it that day for $40,000.
Wow.
Yeah. But sometimes you almost faint because you pay too much. I almost fainted because I was like, I can't believe
nobody else wanted it.
That we're buying it. There was nobody there. I mean, there was people there, but nobody.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, we didn't make a lot of money through the process of setting that plant up because he knew
what things
it was a recession, and but we were grateful because we were moving inventory out of here. We might not be making much money, but we were putting dollars in the bank to pay our people.
Yeah, never had to lay anybody off even through the rough times.
We never laid anybody off, and he paid us, and so we were very thankful for the whole thing. It was a shame that it fell apart, but then we were more thankful when it came time to go.
Yeah, how many Madison ripsaws came through here and went into that place?
Well, no, the ones that stuck there were probably 4, but I think there were some others that didn't stay or something.
Yeah, well, there were some that we had to rebuild because they...
Yeah. Well, they messed them up, and we had to bring them back and fix them. He just didn't, like I said, he didn't hire the right people. I brought him the right guy, and he didn't. That's one of those situations where the guy that I brought him he was a woodworker. He came in his blue jeans, on his Harley, and the guy he hired came in there with the tie on, pressed out his shirt and everything, and he hired the guy that looked good.
That doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Looked the part.
Yeah.
Oh, not even really, I guess.
Well, then it's a good thing this isn't televised, because I wouldn't be hired today.
He'd be hired by us. Yeah, I would have. I recommended that he hired the other guy, but he made his own decision. So, and I'm not saying that's all the reason why he went out of business. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but it was a shame because we put a lot of work into the place.
Yeah,
but it was good for us, all in all. So,
yeah, I was still in college when we flew out for the grand opening.
Yeah, Yeah, the governor was there. Was that wasn't Pence though at that point?
No.
Yeah, the governor of Indiana was there, and they had the big opening and a big TV cruise and all that stuff
Right.
there, and we were invited to that, but we just kind of stood there and watched and drove home. We drove out?
I think we drove.
Yeah, he
yeah.
didn't fly us
Yeah, we
out for
drove.
that, but most of the time when I went out there with him, we'd fly out. And one time he was buying a lot of stuff at auction too, but always at my advice, and he would always pay me. And there was an auction sale in Utah, and he was having a show in Vegas. So he was at the show, and he wanted me to come to Vegas to then go to the auction with him. So I flew out to Vegas, commercial, stayed in Trump's casino. Well, it wasn't a casino. He doesn't have a casino. I stayed in his hotel just for the hell of it. And it's off the strip. And then I met him for dinner. He had big display at, what the hell's that steakhouse? Not Morton's. It's another one. But anyway, it's really not Ruth's. But there's another very famous steakhouse. I can't imagine the bill. I mean, it was a huge table, all these people. He pulled up in a limo. It was a Hummer limo. And I mean, this guy liked to show off. He had money then. So anyway, I go to the show, and then the next day, we're supposed to be Wheels Up I think Wheels Up was like 10 o'clock to go up to Utah. And I got a call from the pilot. It says, Wheels Up now is at 9 o'clock. Like, okay. So I go to the airport, and I knew the pilot, and he said, we're taking a customer with us. Well, why in the hell are we taking a crib customer or whatever, furniture customer to this auction? Well, it wasn't that. We took off from Vegas airport. We flew out around the Grand Canyon, came back and landed. That's all he was doing. He was giving the customer a ride in his airplane to go see the Grand Canyon. I can't imagine what that cost, but we did it.
Wow.
So the owner was a pilot too, but he wasn't qualified. He wasn't licensed to fly the jet by himself. So anytime, his name was Munir, and anytime Munir was flying, I knew it, because you'd sit back, we'd sit at the end of the runway, he had the foot on the brake, and he would full charge the engines, and we would just boom down the runway and take off. But when the pilots were flying, like when the customer was in there, we'd ramp up speed and take off. But when Munir was on, man, we just boom. So we fly up to Utah, and I booked rooms at this resort, and he loved the place. I love this place. The pilots were staying at a Hampton Inn. We were staying at the resort. He calls the pilot. Well, we had to go down to the front desk, and he had to get a bigger room because he wanted to bring his family up. His wife and daughters and one of their friends were at the Bellagio, and he wanted them to come see this resort. So the pilots had to get the plane, fly down to Vegas, pick up the family, and bring them back. And then he stayed with them, and then the next day we went to the auction, and he just bought the hell out of the place. We sat in the back, and he'd look at me, and I'd say, "Okay, go ahead," and we bid and bid. And he bought a Ryman rip system there with the whole infeed, the whole works, really nice. And I arranged to get everything out and get it back to Indiana. So one time we went out to Indiana for another meeting. Walk in, and everybody in the place was just like on edge. And here they dropped the ripsaw. They were bringing it off the truck and went right to the ground.
Ooh.
And Munir was free. He was first. I'll give him credit. First was, is anybody hurt? And he bitched about how they didn't, they should have been more careful, blah, blah, blah. And then he was upset about his machine because nobody was hurt. I looked at him and said, "You have insurance, don't you?" He's like, "Yeah." So we got to sell him another ripsaw. Anyway.
That thing came back here, the dropped Ryman. I don't even remember what the heck we did with it.
We took the parts off of it. The frame was twisted. It really was. We sent in somebody to check it. Maybe it might have been Derek. I don't know. But
Doubt it.
no, not done at that point.
It's probably, who's your buddy that's a winding tech? It's probably him.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, no, it wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, we sent somebody in, and they proved that the frame was actually twisted, and it was very unlikely that the thing would rip straight again.
Right.
So the insurance company settled with him, and he bought a different one. And then we found out where it was. They took it and they put it on like a scrap liquidation site. And I don't know what we probably only paid like $500 for it or something like that. And I made a deal with Manier to buy the infeed. So I had a good infeed. I had a piece of shit twisted frame ripsaw. But then we had another ripsaw here with a good frame, and the rest of it was crap. And we switched them around. We made a good machine out of it and made some money on it anyway. So.
What we always talked about doing is taking a Marine Johnson 424 and dropping it in the same fashion just to see how it would take the fall. Just being like, see, this is why you should buy a Marine Johnson. You can drop it. But we never had the guts to do it.
Can never
Well,
be
there's
honest.
a perfect candidate sitting out back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. That's true. Somebody else already messed that one up, right? All right. Well, guys, we've been talking about an hour.
Yeah, you got to get going here soon.
Yeah, I
huh?
got to go home and do my adult sitting job for the weekend, or for tonight anyway. So I'm glad you came in.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was good stories. I appreciate you telling us your story and all about the bees.
I learned a lot on the bees.
Absolutely.
Good. Well, don't hold me to everything on that. I mean, there might be a little bit inaccurate.
The fact checkers might get us.
Yeah.
We could be in trouble.
We should have Big Dave on here sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could, that wouldn't be a bad one.
You'll have to
Make sure the
turn-
mic's further away from
I
his
was going to
mouth.
say you have to turn all the volume. But yeah, he'll come. You won't even have to ask him twice. He'd be a good one to.
There you go, Dean.
If you'll be at the WoodPro Expo, you might see him because he normally hauls our machines down there for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Do you want to go over WoodPro quick?
Oh,
Coming
yeah,
up,
we
coming
got
up real soon.
got the entry code for RT machine. It's if anyone listening is going here Thursday, Friday this week.
It's 2 week. Yeah, next week when
When
this
it
comes
airs.
out. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'll
right.
be-
That's right.
No, it'll be the following week.
Right.
This will come out next week. The show's the following.
12th and 13th.
There you go.
There you go. That's the way to do it. October.
Look at your calendar.
I think it's 25% off on entry if you use, or pre-registration if you use RTMACH23. And that's RTMACH23. And you get 25% off on that entry.
You can probably put that in the show notes, right?
Yeah, I'll add all this to the show notes. Hope to see you there.
All right. Sounds good.
If you plan to attend the WoodPro Expo on October 12th and 13th, don't forget to stop by and say hello. We'll be in booth 503. Use code RTMACH23 for 25% off entry. Don't forget to support our buddies at Green Street Joinery by subscribing to the American Craftman podcast and their new YouTube channel, Today's Craftsman. Both links in the description of today's podcast.